This podcast is for singers who have music in their soul and want to be in the spotlight. We are INVICTA Vox Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of INVICTA Vox Radio. We are your hosts, Mike and
Angie Lee.
And today we're going to be talking about processes, which altogether doesn't sound very exciting. It actually sounds pretty dorky when you think about it. And really this comes from, for those of you who may not remember, a huge part of my background is actually in engineering. And when we get on these big projects, one thing we talk about is follow the process.
Right. Well, and you're talking about specifically road construction projects, right?
Right. And even though
building like massive freeways and bridges and things like that.
Yeah. And even though that's where this comes from, really it applies to everything, because like when we teach our lessons, we have a process that we follow. The coaches have something that they're trying to achieve. And often it's so hard to get people just to follow the process.
Yeah, it's really simple too. It's not like it's this long drawn out thing when it comes to voice lessons, but it's really hard to get people to follow basic steps in this process and do them in a synchronized order that actually gets them the results that they want.
Right. Like if a coach tells you to practice, they're telling you to practice for a reason. It's not just because they think it would be good for you to go and spend your time practicing. It's actually for a purpose.
Well, and they're telling you to practice specific things. I love this because it's funny, if you're one of our students and you're listening to this, better check in on this. We use this really great software to film live stream all of our students' lessons every single time we teach a lesson. And we can actually see how many times they viewed it. So we can see if they're actually practicing with their lesson content and actually going through the drills that we do and the exercises we do and the application to song that we do, or if they're just kind of meandering on their own. And it's funny because we have our students fill out practice trackers to keep themselves accountable of practicing every single day. And they'll come in with a full practice tracker, and then I'll open up their lessons and see that they only viewed their lesson one time. So it's like you may have practiced, but you didn't practice the way I told you to practice. So you will get some results, but it's definitely not going to go as fast as you want it to go.
Yeah.
Calling y'all out.
Absolutely. And I think one of the main reasons why people don't follow processes is, one, they don't understand them. And two, so I guess I'll talk about both of them and then we'll kind of break each one down. But one, they don't understand the process. And two, they don't trust the process.
Absolutely.
And so I'll just lead off by first understanding the process, because again, I'm just going to kind of take this back to these road construction projects. Mm-hmm. A lot of times these processes were built for certain specific reasons, for issues that had come up in the past that maybe people hadn't been aware of, hadn't seen, right? And right. So people may think that the process is stupid. Like, why would I go in and do this? Why would I do all this extra work? I don't see the benefit of it. But it's because they haven't seen what happens without that process.
Yeah, the mistakes that were made in the past that created the process to begin with.
And so exactly. And so when it comes to lessons, again, we do things in a certain way. We do things in a certain order. We have our students follow this process because we've been doing this for a long time. We've built these processes for reasons. And the reason typically is we know that it gets better results.
Yeah.
And so this goes for anybody taking any kind of lesson, paying any mentor. You're paying them for a certain result. You're going in, you're spending your hard-earned money on a result. You're trying to accomplish something. And they've seen the pitfalls. They've seen what works, what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, if they're a good mentor, coach, leader, instructor, whatever it may be, they've been down that road for so long that they've set these processes up in place to try and maximize results.
Absolutely.
And so when you don't trust that process, when you can't kind of give into it and just say, hey, maybe I don't fully understand this, but I know that they're doing this for a reason, for a purpose. They've developed this not haphazardly, not just throwing it out there and hoping that something works, but based off of actual experience. And so I'm going to lean into what they're telling me because I know it's going to get me to where I ultimately want to go a lot faster.
Well, and that's what you're talking about. The next thing is trusting the process, right?
Yeah.
You have to trust your mentor to trust the process.
Yeah.
And we have people come in, it's not all the time, but on occasion where they are looking for that mentor, they are looking for that leg up, and they're paying money to do that. And then they don't do what we tell them to do because they clearly don't trust or believe in what we're giving them, right? And then they get very frustrated because they go around in circles. And it's this idea, it's so funny. And you see this a lot in all aspects of coaching. And that is you're paying the mentor, or the mentor is there to help you and coach you through it because they have more experience than you. But at some point in the game, you think you know better than your mentor.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely guilty of that.
I am too.
I've tried to I'm going to create my own method because even though I have no experience in this, I'm somehow smarter than the person that spent a decade or 2 decades actually figuring this out and seeing what's gone on. But for some reason, 2 weeks in, I'm smarter than everybody
Yeah, because
else.
you have this epiphany and you're like, oh, I can see the holes.
Right.
Right. And so, or you start listening to YouTube videos and all of a sudden you're the master. Right. And you guys, listening to a couple videos on YouTube does not make you a master mentor of anything. So it's actually getting in and doing the work to become that person that makes you a good mentor. And so if you are with a good mentor and you're paying them to help you, or maybe you're not paying them, maybe they're just helping you because they want to, and they've been down the path, listen. And it's hard to kind of let go of our ego sometimes and allow that process to happen and trust your mentor and trust the process because it's helped a lot of people, and recognize that results will come if you do things in the order that your mentor tells you to do them, and stop thinking that because you've had a little bit of experience or you've seen a few YouTube videos or you're a 2-week, mentor hero coming in, like you said, and being like, yes, I know what to do. I can see all of these holes because I am somehow, more open to the universe to tell me what to do. Like whatever you want to say. But that's the game, you guys, is understanding that you're with these people to get a leg up, to see the holes in your game. And you're going to them because that process works. So then it's time to recognize that, turn off your ego, be coachable, and trust the process and move.
Yeah, the way I like to think of getting a mentor in the first place is you find somebody that's been down the path that you want to go, right? So say you walk up to like a jungle and it's just this big wall of just trees and bushes and plants and vines and everything's hanging down and in your way, right? The reason why you get a mentor is because they've already cut a path through all that.
Yeah.
They've already been in that jungle. They've cut the path. So rather than I know better, I'm going to just start cutting my own path.
Give me a machete.
Just follow the easy path that's been laid out for you.
Right.
They've already been down that road. They've already done all these things. They've already spent way more time, effort, energy, money, everything into learning this craft.
Yeah, and they've already taken all the pitfalls too.
Sure.
So that's a cool thing to think about. I love that analogy because if you're going to go up to the jungle on your own with your machete, maybe you have a weed whacker, whatever, you still don't know what direction to go. And it's a tremendous amount of work just to get a few feet in.
Right.
Right. And it takes so much pain and work to get through the jungle. And not only that, but just know the direction to go once you're there.
Sure.
If you are with a mentor who's already done it, the path is already paved. All you have to do is follow the trail.
Right.
And think of how much faster you can get where you want to go if you actually just follow the trail that has already been set for you.
Right.
And that's the process.
That and the mentor is going to look at things from an outside perspective. So here's kind of a funny story to relate the direction thing, like you were saying, right? Like, hey, they'll keep you going in the right direction. Is one time I remember me and one of my best friends, we were in a lake and we're going to race and we're going to swim. We're talking trash to each other and saying, hey, arguing over who was a faster swimmer. And so we both like get ready and then go. And so we both kind of dive under the water and take off. Well,
and you were swimming to kind of like this island in the middle of the reservoir, right?
No, we were swimming back to shore. We were out in the water and we were swimming back to shore.
Okay.
So the thing is, we never actually settled the bet. I mean, if it's a race to the shore, then my friend won, because what happened is when we went down underwater, I have no idea what happened. I have no idea how this happened, but he swam straight to the shore and I went straight sideways. So I paralleled the shore. I have no idea how I spun that way, but I did. But that's where like a mentor would be like, "Hey, turn, stupid." So,
to the shore.
Yeah, like if you want to be the best, you actually have to go in the right direction. And
you're just going to the shore on the other side of the lake.
Yeah, I'm going to a completely different shore. But that's just that idea, though. Some people, it's the straight line versus this super crooked, all over the place line, making a few steps forward but 6 steps backwards. And so
constantly having to course correct, not because you're trying to be better, but because you're not even on the path.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so one last thing I want to kind of bring up that goes along with this trusting is there's this phrase that we also use quite a bit when you're going through these processes, and it's trust but verify.
Yeah, so this is the last piece of the puzzle, right?
Right.
Because if you trust someone who doesn't know what they're doing and they completely misguide you, you're not even in the jungle anymore. You're like on the other side of the world.
Right, because if you put your trust in somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, and they're just going to guide you wherever, and we see this all the time.
Well, and it happened to us too. Even in my music journey, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to trust you because you've been in this game. You're a good mentor. Yikes. Right?
And that's where you have to verify how people got their knowledge. What are they trying to accomplish with you? Because every good coach, mentor, whatever it may be, they should be leading you to a specific result or goal, whatever you're working on at that time. And so if you ask them, "Hey, what are we trying to accomplish? Why are we doing these exercises?" and they have no idea, then you're probably working with a bad mentor. Really.
You're just working with someone who doesn't even have a clue.
Right. They're just doing things that they've seen other people do without understanding what they're actually accomplishing in the process.
Exactly. And so who knows what tools they're using and if they're even in synchronization in the right order in the process.
Right. And so with vocal lessons in specific, we see people come in all the time who are like, "Yeah, I've been taking voice lessons, but my voice is thrashed." And you get in and work with them and it's like, "Oh my gosh, your technique's horrible."
Yeah,
what they taught you is damaging you more than it's actually helping
Yeah, if
you.
they wouldn't have taken voice lessons to begin with at all, they'd be better.
Right.
And then you have the flip side of that where we lovingly call them singing buddies, where you pay somebody to go sing with them and they don't actually teach you anything. And so it's like you're just a blank slate still. And I have people come in all the time who are like, "I've been taking voice lessons for 6 months," or "I've been taking voice lessons for 2 years." And it literally sounds like they've never had a voice lesson in their life. And so, it's really understanding. And hey, if you want to just go sing with someone and pay someone to sing with you just for fun, totally great. No shame in that game. But if you're actually trying to get somewhere and you think you're paying someone to get somewhere and you're not getting anywhere,
right?
It's like, hey, in the jungle analogy, it's like, well, we're on the outside of the jungle. Isn't that jungle great? We'd like to go walk through that jungle. But for now, we're just going to sit here and walk in circles, but we're super happy doing it.
Yeah. And
like
if that's
outside of the jungle.
If it's more of like a hobby and something that you just want to sing along with somebody, I don't know why you would do that.
but some people do.
But some people do. And if that's your thing, then by all means, like you said, go for it. But if you actually want to progress and get better, make sure you're with a coach, mentor, instructor, whatever it may be, who knows what they're talking about and can actually lead you down the path. And the way that you do that is have open dialogue, ask questions, and really it's the relationship between a coach and the coachee, or
the mentor and the mentee.
Yeah, it shouldn't be one-sided.
No.
It should be a partnership where you guys are working together to accomplish something, where you're
Right.
vocalizing what your wants are and where you want to be headed. And then the coach or mentor says, okay, this is how we're going to get there.
Right. And on the flip side of that too, make sure you're not with a mentor that's going to steamroll you. Because that's
Right.
happened to us too.
Sure.
Right.
Where it's like, you have to do this.
Well, not even just that, but it's like, hey, I understand what kind of artist I want to be. I want to do this style of music. This is my vibe. And then you have a mentor look at you and be like, oh, but shouldn't you be more like this person?
Yeah.
Oh, you remind me of this other artist that is in a completely different genre than the one you want to be in. And then they push and push and push. And you're thinking, okay, well, they're my mentor. Maybe they know better than me. And then you end up going down a path that you don't feel confident on and you don't feel, is really you. Or you'll see people who want to sing pop music go to a vocal coach who can only teach them musical theater.
Right.
Don't do that. And maybe you'll get a little bit from that person, but there's going to be a crossroads where it's like they just can't help you anymore. And so it's just understanding who you are as an artist and where you want to go, and understanding that that's going to change as you take the journey, but knowing that you're with a mentor who can change with you, call audibles in the moment, course correct, and then keep moving. And that at the end of the day, you both understand where the destination is, and you are both working towards that through the process together, trusting each other, trusting your mentor, so that you can get where you want to go and do it as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of sum everything up, just in a nutshell, first of all, if you're going to go pay somebody to learn under them, right, to get instruction or lessons, ask them, talk to them about themselves and their experience and what they've accomplished and where they're coming from.
Feel free to interview
first.
your mentor. I can't.
Mentor.
Mentor. Feel free to interview your mentor.
Feel free to interview the manticore. But yeah, so talk to them, find out what their experience is, their approach to teaching, why they teach. Go ahead and ask them the questions so that way you can make sure that up front you're going to trust that mentor or coach.
Well, and that they can understand your vision with you.
Right. And then moving forward, the process that they lay out in front of you, because you trust the person that's leading you, trust the process that they're laying out in front of you. But also seek to understand that process so that way you don't just trust the coach, but you can also trust the process by understanding what the process is. It'll help you buy in. It'll help you follow it more closely. And really, you'll end up getting way better results in a lot faster time.
Well, yeah. And then you actually understand what you're doing instead of just blindly following too. That's why asking questions is so important.
Right. Because you should conceptually understand what you're trying to accomplish and how you're doing it as well.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. That's really all we got for you today.
Wrap.
So in the comments, just what I want to hear is, or see from you guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below. Where have you screwed up this process before? Has it been not getting to know your mentor, not using it as a partner relationship, not trusting the process, being too trusting of the process? So,
or not even finding a mentor to begin with.
Yeah, or just trying to do it on your own and not making it very far into that jungle. So I would like to hear, where are you making that mistake, and how can you do better next time you approach the game? If you're going to reset and do it all over, how do you do it better?
And if you're on any other platform, go to your journal and write it down, share it to the world.
All right, everybody. Until next time, make sure you share this with your friends. Let anybody that you know that this would benefit them.
If they're on their artist journey and you want to help other artists, this is the podcast. We want to help as many artists as we can. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Peace.